Few policies have as much bipartisan support amongst voters as banning congressional stock trading, and representatives are increasingly seeing it as a potential vote winner.
I have a message for my colleagues today. Don't come to Congress if you want to make a profit. Americans are frustrated with Congress because too many members are personally trading stock, because PAC money is drowning out the voice of voters, and because there are more lobbyists around here than legislators.
Have you talked with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress? He obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status of that bill?
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves. And
for this administration to dare talk about people enriching themselves from their political position is truly laughable.
I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice. And again, the American public reelected him back to this White House because they trust he acts in the best interest of our country and putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office. That is not what President Trump does, and this White House holds ourselves to the highest of ethical standards.
Yeah, and when your father retook office this time, I mean, he was pretty skeptical of it the last time he was in office. I remember that. And this time he said he wanted to be the first crypto president. And you know, to do that, he's installed a lot of pro-crypto aides inside the administration. He has a new crypto task force. They've loosened regulations. Some people want to know, how do you draw the line between what he does as president and what your family does as business?
Well, I think you know me well enough to know that I stay the hell out of Washington, D.C., and I always have. And listen, again, we found crypto because we were a debank. They tried to take everything away from us, and we found that industry because of that. But if you look at all around the world, right, everybody wants the U.S. dollar. Everybody, universally. No one in Asia wants any of their currencies. No one in Europe wants the euro. No one wants the pound. No one wants any of the South American or African currencies. Guess what they want? They all want the U.S. dollar. And so what's happening is you look at instability around the world, people are gravitating toward the American system, and I think that's a beautiful thing for our country. And Kaitlan, if you look at China, they were running toward cryptocurrency. If you look at the UAE, if you look at the entire Middle East, they were all sprinting toward cryptocurrency. My father's winning the race, and he's winning it for America, and I'm incredibly proud of that because this just is the future of banking. It's the future of finance. Again, this is what is growing the fastest in the world. It's picking up tens and tens and tens of thousands of accounts every single day. And America needs to win the race in this, revolution. We
make it very unattractive for people to step up to the plate and run for office or potentially serve in office. I tried hiring a retired CFO many years ago. This after the passage of the Stock Act. Would have been great. I could have had somebody really expert in international taxation, that type of thing. I could not find anybody willing to do it. So this piece of legislation, really, it's legislative demagoguery. We do have insider trading laws. We have financial disclosure. Trust me, we have financial disclosure. The press pays attention to it. So I don't see the necessity of this. I can imagine all kinds of unintended consequences. You could relabel this law, quite honestly, the Career Politician Protection Act, because it'll make it so unattractive for people to give up their business, sell it, unless some ethics committee says, oh, no, there won't be a conflict of interest. I mean, when we pass a tax law that lowers tax rates, we all benefit. It's just an inherent issue. So again, we have plenty of protections. We have the disclosure. This is a completely unnecessary piece of legislation. It's going to create all kinds of unintended consequences. Senator Scott just pointed out one of them, just one of them. So again, I voted no last time. I'm a strong no this time, even stronger this time.
It isn't just individual insider trading. The Trump administration itself acquired a 5% equity stake in Lithium Americas Corp and its Thacker Pass project back in late 2025. And not only does Venezuela have the largest oil reserve in the world, it also happens to have a huge reserve of largely untapped lithium and rare earth minerals.
Right off the bat here, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think I know the name of the person who arguably is the biggest beneficiary of Donald Trump starting an inexplicable war in Venezuela this weekend. And again, I do think it's arguable, but there is a good case to be made, I believe, that the single biggest winner in this whole situation is a person named Karen Bud Phelan. And the reason you can tell she is the biggest beneficiary of the Venezuela invasion is because no one within the sound of my voice right now has any idea who that is. Karen Bud Phelan. Who? Have you ever heard this name before? Has anybody ever heard of this person? No? No, nobody knows who this person is. Karen Bud Phelan is the number 3 official in the Interior Department under Donald Trump. She also served in the same department during Trump's first term. Karen Bud Phelan's family has a ranch in Nevada, and there's a company that wanted to build a huge mine, a huge lithium mine in that part of Nevada. And lithium mines, among all their other many splendid things, they do take a ton of water. So during Trump's first term, while Karen Bud Phelan was working at the Department of the Interior, Karen Bud Phelan's husband sold the water rights from their ranch in Nevada to the mining company that was going to build this big mine. They said, we're going to pay you $3.5 million for the water from your ranch. The only catch, the only contingency is that the full deal only goes ahead if our mine gets approved by the Interior Department. If our mine doesn't get approved, then the deal's off. You can see there's a real financial incentive there, right? If the mine isn't approved, deal's off. But if the mine is approved, you guys are going to get paid millions of dollars. Karen Bud Phelan works at the Interior Department, which has to make the decision about whether or not to approve this mine. During Trump's first term, she meets with the mining company. She meets with them at the cafeteria at the Interior Department. Hey guys, you want to hang out? And then, hey, wouldn't you know it, turns out that mine got approved.
Prediction markets have added a whole new dystopian dimension to insider trading. Hours before Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was kidnapped, a Polymarket account bet over $30,000 that Maduro would be ousted before January 31st, netting over $400,000. Whether Silicon Valley Rep. Ro Khanna's attempt to ban stock and crypto trading in Congress passes certainly remains to be seen. Representative Khanna reported 10 Palantir stock purchases and 1 sale. The financial disclosure forms are required by law and show investments made by either a member of Congress, their spouse, or a trust benefiting themselves or their dependents. Representative Khanna told Sludge, a nonprofit news site that covers money and politics, that he and his wife, quote, maintain independent finances and file taxes separately. This very well may be true, and certainly, the past few years I've agreed with Representative Khanna on a lot of different issues, but that doesn't mean that we just accept everything he does at face value. And so, it makes you wonder whether the push could well be, at least on some level, performative when his wife and dependent children have stock investments in quite literally some of the most disgusting companies operating in the world. And it's never been more important to keep the pressure on politicians, even ones we might like, who could be profiting by selling out their constituents and abandoning any sense of morality for profit.